Welcome to the Pints Polishing Podcast. I'm Marshall. That's Nick. You can find us at hypercleanstore.com or go to the HyperClean Specialist group on Facebook. Great place to go hang out, have some beers, enjoying a pint, and seeing everybody. All right? Good times there. Hey, Nick, let's do some buy and sell. I tell you what, I am buying. I'm buying today. And I'm buying that I didn't buy. What? I'm buying that I didn't buy. If any of you have ever had a habit that you had a hard time kicking, well, it's cold. It's starting to get cold here. You'll experience it, right? It's that that misty. It's cold. It just drew me back to a time when I had it was a valet company. Gotta love it. I had a blast. Years of running a valet company. But when it got cold, what we'd always do, we'd throw a big Levi Garrett in. Oh, man, there's nothing like a big chew, man. I love some chew when it gets cold. It gets, man, you love put a little bubble gum around it if you want it or not. Just throw it straight in, you know. Man. But what also paired with that, I went ahead and did buy, and it was some whiskey. It was always about whiskey and some chew. And I was like, you know what? I can do some whiskey. I'm still, but I gave up the chew, and I feel good, man. I feel good. Even though that urge was there, it never goes away. It's like, I'm going to pass. And I'm buying that I didn't buy.
Yeah, like there's certain activities, right? You play slow pitch softball, you want some Levi Garrett, some bubble tape wrapped around it, some big league chew. Yeah, there's a lot of guys not even going to realize what that is. But, dude, I dipped for years. It was the hardest thing I ever had to give up. I was a Kodiak guy myself. And Copenhagen towards the end. And so hopefully none of you have started that and never had that at all. Some of you that are still there, hey, it's a tough habit to break. And I'll tell you what I'm going to buy. I am going to buy the fact that I'm getting so many messages about personalized license plates. Like, people have no idea, and Marty does know, but a lot of people around my life know how addicted I am to just spotting personalized license plates. And it's so cool to see everybody now in the Pints and Polishing world and the hyperCLEAN world. I'm getting DMs, texts, showing me all the crazy stuff from where they live. And it's made the enjoyment even better. I can't explain to people how long I've been doing this in my life. Literally, for me, goes back to high school when I had buddies that got personalized license plate on their 16th car, and I busted their balls from the time it entered my life until now. I just can't get enough of it, so keep them coming, and it's by far my favorite thing that's ever come out of this podcast.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you'll see my mom's silver. That's hers. Personalized license plate, silver.
Hey, I'll be there next week, so if I can take a picture in person, that'd be terrific.
All right, so inside the specialist group, fun little questions, fun stuff to chop up and toss around. So Jasper had a cool question, and it was around microfibers and, how many do you have? What do you have? Maybe, this and that. I wanted to know from you, like you mentioned, as you're going to be here, what your microfiber, I guess, not situation in a sense of what do you use, how many you use type of deal. We've kind of talked about what you use, per car, and we'll get into that, especially when you get here. I think those are going to be some interesting videos where you lay out your process for different things, the way you do it, as people would like to get a little bit more, dial in with their process. Those are some of the videos that I think are going to be really good for, community in a sense. Yeah. But, what is what's your maintenance of towels like? I'm gonna throw my dirties into a bag. I mean, this is, as long as you've been with personalized license plate, this has been mine. I just throw them all into a bag. Of course they get washed separately, but then they all get thrown back into a different bag that is then used as just the new towel bag. I've gone to some people. Exactly. That's what I was hoping for. I've gone to some people, and I bet you're one of them, where you open up the cabinet and everything is folded, everything's laid out, and everything's. So this is going to be some of the interesting stuff.
It's different on the trucks. So all of our dirties are in the back of our truck. They all have their separate bag. So towel, wheel towels, dirty towel, the dirty stuff, fender towels, that kind of thing. That's got a dirty bag. Then you got a paint bag. Then you got an interior bag. And that's the way we keep them separated. And they get separated that way in the truck, but they're in bags. These guys use so many towels that in the cab, in the king cab of every one of our trucks, their clean ones are just in clean bags, right? They don't have time to fold them. It'd be a complete waste of time. In a shop setting, it's not a waste of time because you have limited cabinet space.
No,
So,
it still is.
No, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. But and I'm not going to allow it. We got to stop this nonsense. Whatever it is you got going on over there, that's I imagine HQ is going to be under fire, here in about a couple days. So,
or you walk in and be amazed, right? You'll be like, "Wow!"
You better get the team on it. I bet you got them working like dogs over there right now. Like, dude, can you guys correct all my mistakes? Here's the thing.
Chaos in motion, though, right? Isn't that what they say? Like,
yeah, I hear you. That's what insane people say at the insane asylum. So here's what I definitely say, like, all the time. The only thing I think you need to be worried about with microfiber towels is, so many things can happen if you have something on your paint towels or your interior towels. I just like keeping everything separate in dirty bags. That way I don't have to separate them when I get home or my guys go and wash them at a laundromat or something like that, if that's their decision. But the other thing is, this is also overthought and underthought. Keep them organized, keep them separated in a dirty, we have canvas laundry bags, because they tend to get really beat up. And so guys buy those cheap bags. Buy the canvas bags. You literally buy them once. You can get them anywhere, Target, doesn't matter. Buy 6 of them, right? 3 for the back of your van, 3 for where you keep your clean ones, especially if you're doing a lot of work, and call yourself good on that. I think that's an easy process. In a shop, same here. We have 3 separate bags. Then we fold them up to put them into the cabinet, but just keep them separate. I honestly think if you do that, you're kind of way ahead of the curve, right? And the mobile guys tend to get contamination on their towels, like in the fall. Leaves will fall on your towels. If you keep them under cover, like in the back of your van, and you keep them in a bag, you don't get any of that contamination, right? It just it's always in a covered up bag, designated for itself. And so we've actually extended the life of our towels that way. And then when you go to wash them, I think people really screw this up. Your water, if it got hot enough to burn plastic, it would burn your skin. Just remember that. It would burn, you'd have like a 1st or 2nd degree burn on your skin. Your hot water tank does not get hot enough at the spigot to burn. So go ahead and don't be scared, your wheel towels especially, to wash on hot. Okay? Break down the dirt, the grime, the polish, the compound. Guys get so insane because they don't understand the mathematics of temperature. Your dryer can get pretty damn hot.
There you go. Okay? There's where you do run the problems. Yep.
Yeah, you do run the problem on hot in a dryer. I promise you, your towels will last longer and look cleaner and do better. And I'm not saying you have to do it every time on hot water. I do wash every extremely dirty towel, wheel towels, etc., on hot every time. Your paint and your interior a couple times a month. We wash weekly. We have so many towels. So if you want to do that hot every now, I do it hot every time.
Yeah, same.
I want to break the stuff down. I don't care what's on it, the cleaners on it, I want to get back to as natural of a towel as I can. And people screw that up because they're like, oh, you're going to ruin the towel. It's like, dude, if it ruined the towel, you literally wouldn't be able to take a shower in your house or wherever you're at. Relax, man. It's not going to get that hot. Then tumble dry on low. A little heat on low. I hear guys that they only do it with air, and they're like, my towels come out kind of,
need a little
low. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. People have really scared individuals about towel. It's insanity.
It is, right? And I'm curious from you. My first for a while, always favorite towel that we have is always the Workaholic. I mean, that's what I always grabbed until I started grabbing that Versatile more.
Oh,
It kind of started out as an accident. right? And I was like, uh-oh. Now as the Versatile gets a little bit aged, it goes over into the like an interior. I love an aged Versatile on the interior. Oh,
Dude.
it's unbelievable. What's your
Yeah,
favorite towel?
oh, it's Versatile. It's not even
Versatile, yeah.
close. It's not even close. It's because, and so for people that haven't tried it, that kind of convinced us to go with our towel provider, right? Look, let me be very clear. We don't magically like make the towels in the back at HQ, okay? That doesn't happen. But this towel was the most unique towel I've ever worked with, meaning it had the extremely high GSM without the long nap. The long nap becomes a real problem, for guys using them on paint, especially when they're new. They're kind of unruly to use. This one's really dense, a lot of different applications where it just shines, right? Shines on interiors, great at removing polish and compound, great at rinseless wash, a great wash towel if you want to use it to rinseless wash, great wash towel if you want to use it for a one bucket method on washing. It's just the best towel, and that's why we came up with the Versatile.
It has limitations there, right? 2 bucket, you're done. No, only 1 bucket.
Yeah, we'll do a video on that. We'll get to that at the end of the episode, but that is my preferred towel to wash a car with, and I enjoy the hell out of it. I love that towel.
All right, Manny, he's curious. He says he wants to know how Trey or Sparta is on satin wraps. I haven't worked a satin wrap. You probably have.
Yeah, it's wraps, matte paint, satin wraps. Everybody kind of gets, very confused. Manny asked a great question. It's going to richen the look. It's going to darken the look a little bit. It's going to add protection. When you do a wrap, I'm here to tell you, those things get mangled a lot quicker than what the manufacturers tell you. Protect the hell out of it. I don't care what anybody tells you. Trey will work great. Sparta will work great. Uno will work great. Dos will work great. Get a coating on a wrap, period. Unless it's a chrome style wrap that obviously you can't coat, I would always tell people to coat a wrap.
All right, Josue had a really cool post and a pretty cool customer. Like, the customer gets it. I thought it was awesome. Reading through, the questions back and forth was about getting a ceramic coating. The customer was asking, and, it's perfectly great question. A lot of people will ask a detailer to a customer, well, how many years are you looking for? Customer's like, hey, listen, I've bought the X amount and it only lasted, to here. I don't really buy into that hype anymore. I just want my vehicle protected. And that generates a lot of interesting discussion. One, though, that I commented to as a comment inside the post, like, hey, that's awesome that this guy got it. This is stuff that we've talked about, a perfect exact sample of customer habits, especially their buying habits. When we're talking about this in particular, this customer's buying habit has changed. It started one direction, but now it has changed because of what he experienced.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for that customer because what it means is he was sold something that didn't work, or he was sold something that he didn't know how to take care of or wasn't provided an opportunity to take care of by the detailer. You have no idea what happened, right? But he's had a bad experience, right? I mean, from the post that we read. And so now you get to just go in there and say, okay, let me give you the best option for you. How long are you going to keep your car? What matters to you? What are you looking for? It becomes a blank canvas out of his bad experience. Now, imagine if you actually perform for that guy. That's a lifelong customer, right? And this is why we share, for all you professionals out there, better be careful what coating you're putting on cars, because wherever this guy was getting it before, you told him something that wildly underperformed. Now, maybe it was on him, maybe, but it shouldn't underperform by 3.5 years. It shouldn't underperform by that. So no matter what he did, and unless he took it through like a sand machine that was sanding the coating off, he shouldn't have had that problem. Not that quickly. Becoming all too common. And I shared this on an episode. I don't know if it was you and I, Marty, or if I shared it on an episode that I did by myself. The last year, it resurfaced surface for the first time since I've been laying coatings on, where we heard about so many coatings not lasting. That was not something early in coatings. It was like, this thing's never coming off, so you didn't have to worry about it lasting. I mean, that stuff just didn't come off. You had to sand it off. As coatings got better technology, we seem to have seen some brands slide in and say, you know what? Let's not even worry about the stuff lasting. If people didn't believe me then, you can go into things like the specialist group, and that's absolutely surfaced in the ceramic coating world in the last 24 months.
Well, and that's what was cool about Joe Sway's comment back, right? He said, when he sent me that, meaning the customer having the issue and talking about previous stuff in the past, don't want to go that way. He goes, my first thought was, holy crap. I literally just listened to that episode on the way here. Like, yeah. Love it. Like, that is ultimately, that's a lot of what community is all about. Why we put out the information, why we do what we do, is so that there's moments like this. You can have a detailer working with the customer, and now those dominoes are lining up, right? Now you've got information to the detailer, to the customer, and all through the way, we're going to get a great experience for the guy with his car now. Right?
And hopefully,
that's ultimately what we want.
Hopefully whatever you sell him overperforms and he's happy, and now you got a lifelong customer. And again, remember, this all comes out of somebody didn't choose the right coating initially. More than likely, he was overpromised something, underdelivered on that promise, and guess what happened? Now Joe Sway's got a new customer. He's already paid. According to Joe Sway, I think he's already paid, a couple $1,000s for his coating appointment, ready to go. And here we go, right? This is what it's about. You have an opportunity to literally steal a customer because somebody put on a subpar product.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I got an email that I want to talk through a couple of things on. And it's interesting email because, well, they thought that they had some dust on their car. After quite a bit of discussion, well, it first started out on their wheel, and then it moved to the paint, and then after some pictures, and then as you examined, I examined, we went through it more. You in particular go, hey, listen, man, this is actually not dust. This is rust, right? Like this customer has some problems on their vehicle. So I wanted to use this email to just go through a couple of things for a second, right? Like, talking to this customer, they have a habit. Now, their habit for taking care of their vehicle, they tell me, is because this is the way they have to do it. Okay, right? They apparently in their area, there's not a professional detailer there. Apparently, they're not able to detail it themselves. I think it's an apartment complex or something, right? There's certain ways that, reasons that you can't, cold weather type thing, right? So They can't do it. And they need to go through a car wash. And so they wanted to be able to try and get this off while then going through a car wash, and then they want to take care of their car. So I'm trying to work with them on how to go through the car wash and then use Slick as a drying aid afterwards. And you'll at least get to start re-adding, some protection.
Yeah.
But I just start kind of going through thinking, well, is that right? How do you handle somebody's habit that doesn't really align with the way you feel that it should be as a customer to business? Right. That becomes an interesting thing. Can you ever change somebody's habit? Is that something you can do, or what do you do with that?
We can change habits, but it's got to be changed by using us. Usually, if you're a professional, certainly all the consumers and prosumers and DIYers listening to us, they change habits. Everybody can change a habit. But when you got this email and you talked to me about this email, this guy was telling you, I'm not going to change anything. I'm looking to add to what I have. So you're like, hey, if you can get a reputable wheel cleaner on there before you go through there, maybe that'll help you. If maybe you can get some iron removed, because that's what he kind of alluded to was on the paint. We can get some iron remover that then can be rinsed off in the car wash, and then you can dry it with Slick, and then here's some glass cleaner. And, we can help you a little bit. And you guys all listening got to remember something. We're a product company, and somebody's asking us a product question. It's much different than being asked that as a detailer. This guy's obviously saying a lot of things that probably aren't exactly correct. I'm guessing there are detailing companies in his area. I'm guessing there are mobile guys as well as shops. He's choosing to do it his way. There's a level of argument that I'm not going to get into with any customer. I'm going to tell them my opinion. I'm going to tell them how I would change things. And the minute they look me in the eye and go, I'm not doing any of that, I'm out. I'll help you where I can. Good luck to you. I hope this works in your favor. I know it's probably not going to. Can you change habits? Yes. When you can do business with those people and talk them into doing something different. But there's also a second side of that. There's some people that are not going to be talked into doing things differently.
And there's some things you actually can't talk them out of something that they're doing. For instance, I have a customer still today, but years ago, long time ago, this customer was going to their airport hangar to go get on their personal jet. And, well, the people that maintain the jet, it's a big service, for the airports. A lot of them have it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, these services decided to start cleaning the cars for the customers of the planes.
That's always interesting. I'm been in that situation quite a few times in my career. Boy, oh boy.
A lot of brush marks started appearing on the car the next couple times I started coming back to the.
What do you mean, Marty? I mean, aviation guys, they know everything.
Huh? Strange. Yeah. What was I going to do? I cannot tell this guy to not go to the airport and go to his plane. And can I tell him to be an asshole to the people that were cleaning the cars and go, listen, y'all aren't doing it right. Yep. I mean, how do you handle this situation? This becomes a part of where you go, okay, I've got a problem now. It's arriving with the customer, their habit of what they're doing. How do I, as a company, work with the customer, because I want this customer to be around for a long time, work with their habits inside of the realm of them still being my customer? I chose to educate on, lubricity, educate on what that brush is doing. I chose to show them, right? A lot of detailers will take this approach, and you'll see it online where they'll take a picture and they'll be like, look what the car wash is doing. I didn't do it that way. So let me clarify for a second. Yeah. I did it hands-on, and I did it on, hey, you and I have an agreement that I'm going to take care of your car to this level. You continue doing that, it makes my job for you a lot harder. Is there a way that we can make this a little better?
Stop. Yeah, can we stop it? Yeah, yeah. And I've been in that position in many a hangar. A lot of ego at the hangar. Okay, let me be clear. Detailers, auto detailers, you think you have it bad. I'll make this joke because I know some of these guys listen. Aviation, marine is a whole different level. They think because I take care of a plane, I can take care of a car. They think they can take care of the world. They do a great job taking care of planes. That's awesome. Some of them can do both. I've run into this issue at least 6 or 7 times in my career with large clients. Sometimes I put it in writing what was happening because I couldn't always get to the customer in time. So I would take photos and I would lay out, hey, here's how your car entered the hangar. Here's how it's coming back from the hangar. Want to let you know, please advise what you'd like me to do here. After a couple of those emails, after a couple of those text messages, after a couple of those face-to-face, a lot of hangars around here don't touch cars anymore, right? So this goes back to behavior change. You can change some things when you're there and you're able to say to somebody, hey, this is happening to your car. We have this happen a lot, and I've shared this on the podcast, where we had a certain country club that was valeting cars right into sprinkler systems. And I literally had a bunch of people that were members of this club, we had to correct, Marty, it had to be like 50 cars over a very short period of time where they just got water spotted. We have really hard reclaimed water in these water systems in the sprinkler systems out here, especially at golf courses. They're getting the worst of the worst water out here. And they were just marking up every car, Benzes, Range Rovers, Ferraris. Dude, it was like clockwork. And so I had to write mass email to all these people and say, this is what's happening at your country club. We're happy to keep fixing it. I have no issue to keep fixing it. It's going on your bills. This is coming from this problem. I sent that email out. I bet within a week, I got a call from the country club and they said, it'll never happen again. If you see it again, you need to let us know.
So you think, let's journey that, because ultimately that was what had to happen with this customer. I had to start polishing the car.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to start charging him extra to polish. And ultimately then that is what drove down to go, hey, we're done doing this. Is that, do you think, then the relationship that needs to happen when you're wanting to work with a customer, their habit is doing something, for instance, car washes. We got plenty of detailers that complain about people going through car washes. You know, is the way to change that habit, provide the service for them to where they can get the car wash from you, or add in that polishing so much every time to say, hey, we got to get it to this level? Because I don't know if you can really change them going through, for instance, like a drive-through.
Oh, yeah. So I think we could take this out of detailing and give people something I went through a lot. You take care of a lot of cars for a lot of different people. There's certain habits that you see over and over again. There's certain people that are going to curb their rims all the time, right? You have customers like this. They would curb a rim. It didn't matter if there was 500 feet in that drive-through, they're going to curb the rim. So we used to, for this customer, set up wheel repair. This is a true story. We fixed the wheel on a Lamborghini. They picked up the car, drove off. I didn't even get back in my truck, get it on and get it in drive. They had gone through a Starbucks drive-through and remarked up the rim. Like, I hadn't even left the house at this point. The Starbucks is like literally a couple minutes down the road, but I was goofing off. I hadn't left from dropping the car off, right? What detailers have to understand is that wheel repair guy is not mad that the wheel got marked up again. He's just like, yeah. I said, hey, man, they just marked up the wheel. Now, reminder, he's not even but 2 minutes down the road. I'm not even down the road. I've had this happen several times, maybe not to this quickness, but I've had stuff happen same day all the time. What I learned is what would I sound like if I told that customer, you have a problem, you can no longer go through drive-throughs, or I'm not going to work for you? You'd be like, dude, they're going to go get their Starbucks. They're going to go to McDonald's. They're going to go to In-N-Out. They're going to go wherever. They're going to go do what they want to do with their car. And that's where we got to start drawing some lines as detailers, and everybody's going to draw their lines differently. That's fine. If I've done everything I can to educate the customer and they make a poor choice, I have to remember it's their car. But I also got to look at the positive that I'm going to fix the car, which brings money into my account, which brings money into my business. And I'm not the one that was trying to take advantage of them. I told them what to do and what not to do. And some of them look at you and go, yeah, I'm not going to do that. They'll have a smirk on their face and I'll just let you fix it when I screw it up. Okay, man. You've had plenty of those conversations. Doesn't make them a bad customer. Matter of fact, some of those people are my best customers. Like, not because they pay me to do a lot of stuff I shouldn't have to do, but because they're like, I know I'm doing wrong. I just want you to fix it when I do it wrong. Like, that is a part of this business. People are paying you to be on top of something that they don't want to be on top of. And just because they're not going to live with it perfectly, and I can tell everybody this, I know I've said this before. One of the most miserable I've ever been with my cars is when I had a show level car. With a car I owned, where I spent and wet sanded the whole car and there was never a blemish on it and the wheels were perfect and I refinished everything the way I wanted. I actually hated driving that car. I hated it. You don't want to know why? Because I looked at it every time and I'm like, dude, I got like 70 hours into this thing. So I never enjoyed that car. So I kind of get where people are coming from. If I'm the guy that has the money to afford to have it look perfect and I can screw it up, why wouldn't I? Because you've driven a perfect car and you're like, man, I got to park way out here. And then you see somebody's car next to yours. And you're like, did they dent my car? And then if they did, you're thinking about punching their window out. Like, people can act like they always drive around.
Your parking lots escalate quickly, don't they?
Oh, dude. When you have a perfect car, when you have a show level car, you want to talk about a place that gets, dude, I'll never forget. I came out, I parked so far out at this parking lot once. And this is when I was driving this car that made me so miserable. I parked way out there and I'm like, I come out and I go, I'm not seeing that. And that the whole, now mind you, I got like a half a mile to look, right? So I know what I'm seeing. So by the half a mile of my face turning red and wanting to, I hope this dude's in his car because I'm going to drag him out of here and kill him. I'm glad he wasn't. But you got to realize something, man. Driving a perfect show car, it all sounds great. But when you are the person that knows the work that goes into it and you're driving it around and it's yours, it's kind of miserable. And people can lie to me. Like, I know detailers listen to saying, oh, my car's perfect. I guarantee if I showed up and picked your car apart, it's not perfect. I'm talking about this was show level. It was miserable. I didn't like it. But think about the customer that can afford to have that kind of car, and he doesn't care if he messes it up. And he goes, hey, you'll handle it. Hey, you'll handle it. I'm not going to get angry with them. I understand why there's a habit to get angry with them, but you can't. You just got to say, hey, man, I'm here to be the guy to give you the best experience. And I've told you what it is, and you've agreed to pay.
Agree to pay. That becomes really the end of it, right? So our favorite, at least my favorite, as I've joked about her in the past, favorite Range Rover lady has texted me again for service. This time, well, a peanut butter ball has melted in the seat.
Oh, no. Hey, if that's on the list for next week in the videos, you can count me out. I'm letting everybody know right now. Marty has me cleaning peanut butter out of seats. He's getting a baseball bat at HQ in front of the staff. So that better not be on the list. I've worked my whole career never to see that again.
Hey, I'll take a baseball bat over a 9-iron any day.
I hear that, dude.
So, no, I asked her if she wanted to bring it into the HQ, but she asked for mobile service. So you did luck out. I made sure my guy understands that she will be charged extra. I understood. Yeah. I made sure that she understands, hey, you're going to get charged extra. Yeah. I can't change her habits. I tried. I can't do it.
Yeah. You know, where
she doesn't mind. She doesn't mind paying because I have now fit into a role with her, right?
Yep.
I'm fitting into her habit. And as long as, you know, the company, so to speak, my company will service her habits, she doesn't mind paying extra. And
no. And that's the golden ticket, right? It's like, as long as they, and again, I get guys are saying, well, I got some people that don't understand. Yeah, I agree. We have some people that don't understand that. They're not a customer anymore. That's just the nature of it. If they're not going to pay for the extra, then that's a whole different conversation. But a lot of guys check themselves out of these relationships with customers because they're like, well, I'm not going to keep polishing your car, Mrs. Smith. You know, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. I get it, man. They shouldn't do this and they shouldn't do that. But I had something happen similar. I had the same lady on a Bentley GT spill, it had to be like 10 blueberry protein shakes in the same spot on the seat like 10 different times. Here's the greatest thing. When Christmas came around, she gave my guys all kinds of gifts, like always tipped when she messed up her car when she didn't need to, like, because she was on monthly billing, but my guys would get in there and there'd be like a couple $100 on the seat and they'd be like, take a picture of it and send it to me like, hey, I think she forgot $200. And I would text her and I'd say, hey, my guys found a couple $100. You want them to bring it in? She's like, no, that's for them. I know that I messed up. So realize that before you burn a bridge, some of these people are okay messing up and footing the bill. Instead of getting that high level of frustration, just make sure you're always very clear with people that I've told you how things are going to go.
Nick, it doesn't matter the people at SEMA that have come up and said, hey, you know, I know when I listen to you guys, we have the people that just a minute ago inside the specialist group. We've had people on community pub. They're gonna always say, "Golly, man, you guys are always saying good." Like it happens that way until this moment, though. Until this moment right here, Nick. We're talking about customers. You're not talking about my customers. My area's tougher. Nick, when you come here next week, you're going to find out. Tulsa customers are different. We're tougher. It's tougher here. My customers.
Yeah. Well, you did have a customer that was flying on his private plane, so I'm guessing there's good customers in Tulsa, and I'm guessing there's good customers everywhere. Everyone's listening. And there is a mantra in detailing that seems to be very, very, very pronounced in every group and every comment. You don't get it. You don't live where I live. I don't know, man. We have guys killing it in some of the poorest counties in the United States. We got guys killing it in rich areas. We got guys killing it in middle class areas. Our company's growing in every zip code across America and now globally, Canada. Your area is not different. Yeah, man, maybe your people don't have exotics, but that's a very tiny percentage of the business that I do. Okay. Just because they don't have exotics doesn't mean they don't have money. Go to certain parts of Texas where guys are driving around, $200,000 trucks. I mean, there's exotics that are $185,000 today. What are we talking about? Go to horse country. You've been to some of those places when they got machinery that costs $1.5 million and they got 10 trucks sitting there that are brand new, $100,000 a piece. I don't buy into that. And I think, we're so big on mindset this year on this podcast. Your situation is not different. Let me give the example, Marty, I've given you before. You may live in an area that cars still rust, right? You live in areas where you see rust. Okay, I don't see a lot of rust here in Las Vegas. Very true. I guarantee you don't see the level of paint oxidation that we see in the desert. So yes, you have a rust issue, but you don't fight paint oxidation. Now, one is not right, and one is not wrong, and one is not worse, and one is not better. They're just issues you deal with in your area. And to think that somebody living somewhere else doesn't have an issue, what about in Southern California where guys couldn't use water for years? There's many of you that are anti-rinseless and waterless. So you just wouldn't have been detailing in Southern California. So technically they had it worse than you did because you need water. And how dare you detail a car without water? Everybody's dealing with something. There's no perfect place to live. There's no perfect customer base. There's no perfect cars to work on. But it is a mantra we hear out a lot of people is you don't understand my situation.
And I wonder if this becomes a part of, if there's a thing that happens to somebody where they hear something, then they're going to want to defend and they're going to say, all right, well, this is, you don't understand. Well, let's think for a second. This is a cool little series that I just started listening to or watching on Netflix. It's Morgan Freeman. It's Life on Our Planet. Really great series. I love that. Yes, it was rule number 2. And it was competition drives evolution. Now, we can think of competition in a couple different ways. For us here in this circumstance and what we're talking about in this moment, competition, we might actually start thinking about competition in our own selves.
Oh, yeah.
If we're going to complain about customers or complain about stuff going on or try and change their habits and, well, these customers won't do this. I'm this type of detailer and, well, customers just won't do right. And maybe you actually need to compete with your own self and evolve away from the mindset that you're thinking into the evolution of a proper mindset, which is what we constantly keep trying to talk through.
Yeah, let's give an example, Marty, so guys understand exactly what we're talking about. I'll never forget you and I were on a phone call, and a guy literally said to me and you, we were talking about our chemicals and everything, and he goes, people in my area just won't buy PPF. Nobody will buy it. Nobody will buy it. Now, this guy happened to be in Phoenix, Arizona. It's one of the most robust PPF markets in the country. Not the most, but top 10 in robust PPF markets, if not top 5. And some people will tell you it's top 3, but I'm giving it top 10. He's telling you this to you and I on the phone, while a day earlier, you and I were on a call with a PPF shop that switched over to us that's about to have a record year in PPF and coating installation. So he was telling you and I that we didn't understand what he was going through, literally on the phone, while a day earlier he had no idea we were talking to a guy that was killing it with PPF, killing it with 5-year coatings in the same zip code he was in. Now, everyone tell me that mindset doesn't matter. We just see it too often be that way. And I'm not saying that whoever's listening to this saying you're having a tough time. Yeah, man, I've had tough times. You can have tough times in Vegas. You can have tough times in Miami, Florida, Los Angeles, New York City. It doesn't matter. You think everything's going to be solved by moving to XYZ place, or those people have it easier than you. I would actually tell people, if you're struggling in a smaller market, when you get to a big market, your head would explode. Because you may look in your small market, and you and I have had these types of conversations. The guy down the street's charging $250 for a basic detail. You remember what I told that guy? Outside my window, they're charging $20, my guy. And you're complaining to me and saying where I live is easy. Everyone's got something they're battling, guys. Everybody. There is no perfect. And when you keep looking for an excuse, I think that's why, Marty, you said what you said. Sometimes it's you just got to change some thought process. And we've all been there. We've all gotten to a low point. We've all thought negative. The mindset needs to be, this is my market. I'm going to cash in on it. I'm going to show them why they need to use us. I'm going to provide value. I'm going to figure this thing out. Not when somebody says something on the internet, go, well, they're only saying that because they don't live where I live. It's like, okay.
So evolution for us is also happening. We've talked about it a little bit. There's a reason you're coming into town. So the evolution for us of providing out a different style, in a sense, of information, a different style of how to learn about hyperCLEAN products, a little different view. Well, because it is more long form views, right? We'll see some different stuff come out of these long form views, but we have a long form content starting to come out that is on YouTube. That's going to be a lot of fun for people.
Yeah, it's time for us. We get a lot of questions, and we appreciate all of them. The specialist group has proven this to us as well. One of the most important things that we have to start doing is we have to provide value to the people that follow us, to the people that want to learn a system of detailing a car on an elite level. It's really important for us to provide value back into the system to all of you and really show you what it's like, or what we see as, hey, here's the proper way to clean up a tire and a wheel. Here's the proper way to hold a polisher. I know people think that stuff's basic. We're being taught every day on our end. The basics have been glossed over for far too long.
All right, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because some people might say, well, that's, too basic. Why do you need to learn that? Why should we geek out on, geez, you could even go geek out on how to clean a window. It seems basic, but how to spray glass cleaner onto a window. You mentioned how to hold a polisher. What speed should you be on? How do you put on ceramic coating?
Why you shouldn't be buttering your pads with shovels and
how dare those people that do shovels? I cannot believe it. That's just terrible.
Yeah. We have to learn, just like we ask all of you guys to continue learning. The most shocking thing to me over the last 3 years is I was completely unaware of how many people were searching for help, how many people do want the basics, and how many people think they're past the basics, but then when you see their work in person, or they try to garner help from you, you go, dude, you're in way over your head. That's okay. I don't judge people for that. I've been way over my head when I started my career. I've screwed up cars in my career. I've done all those things. I'm a human. You're human. We get it. It's time that we start giving back and showing people what an elite process is from top to bottom. That's not going to happen overnight, but that means step by step. What's it look like to actually detail a car? And let me use the word properly. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, there is a proper elite way to get great results every time. And have I seen it cataloged on the internet by any company? Hell no. Have I seen it in trainings? Hell no. And so now it's our turn to invest in all of you and say, okay, little by little, we're going to show you why it's important to start cleaning a rim from the top to make sure you're using the most lubrication, because if you don't start at 12 o'clock, guess what? By the time you get back to the top, there's no lubrication. You're scratching that part of the wheel. Seems easy, but how many people just stick their wheel brush in wherever and get started? Then they miss a spoke. Then they miss a part of the barrel. Then they miss. The stuff isn't as basic. And again, if you want to be elite, the only difference between average and elite is elite people do the basics more often than average people do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do more extraordinary things. They just do ordinary things extra. That's
so
what
it will be some of that, right? Really in depth. And that's the cool part of, the difference of you and I. You'll be able to, when you're here, go into some deep stuff like that. And then there's not going to be other videos where I sometimes just want to have fun. Right. And I hope.
Yeah, we can have you folding towels that you stole from inventory. That's what we're going to be having you do. While I'm detailing and providing education, it seems like what we could have you doing is going and taking inventory of all the towels you've wasted. That's so everybody knows,
So that's the flip side, right? That's the other part that we want to also do is we also want to have some fun. We want to show content from some different styles too. We want to be unique for who we are. And I think we'll accomplish that. I'm excited about it. I really am. So hyperCLEAN Store on YouTube. This is the place to go. Every Friday we'll drop episodes. When you think of the episodes, what are you most excited about?
Man, that's tough. I'm most excited, honestly, just about sharing our ideas, 20, 40 plus years combined, chopping it up and showing guys, hey, this is the way we see it. This is why we see it this way. This is how we use our products to their advantage, which I see a lot of guys struggling with. And at the end of the day, I'm looking more forward to just interacting with our community of people in a different way.
Let me ask you this then, because we talk about stuff that we are not sure, it's always talked about in the right way. It's something that we've said, is it correction versus coating? When you're here, we're going to do some correction stuff. The application of coatings, I think, is also going to be, that's where I was going to say my most thing that I'm looking for. Like, I think there's so many people that just need to watch over and over. Here's another car with Uno. Here's another car with wash clay Uno. Here's another dose. Here's some tray. Here's another Uno. I hope that there's an Uno after Uno after Uno so that we'll always begin to see, for instance, this customer earlier, they emailed me. Great. You can put on Uno and then go do your habit. It will help you tremendously because we're wanting to keep the fallout. We're wanting to keep the cars in good shape. We're wanting to keep their car life the way they choose it, to be happy, to enjoy themselves. And that's where I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I hope I hope we provide value, and we're going to adjust and do things and learn along the way. And we're going to look like knuckleheads and have some fun and all that kind of stuff. So this is all new for us. We know you guys have been asking for things like this, and it's time for us to step up and do it. And I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. All right. hyperCLEAN Store over on YouTube. Look forward to seeing everybody there. Some people have already been commenting and enjoying the video. So we'll see everybody over there. And the next time, Nick, I see you, well, it'll be in person.
Yeah. And get the towels situated before I get there.
No, not happening. Not happening.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later.